If you're going down the highway in a small compact car, but you look in your rearview mirror and you see a large transport truck coming up behind you at twice your speed, going in the right direction isn't good enough. You've got to speed up. And right now, the transport truck is climate change and extreme weather risk. If the question is Canada moving in the right direction on the climate file? The answer is yes. But are we moving fast enough? The answer is no. My interest in sustainability began on or about 1991, 1992, about 4 or 5 years after a very famous report came out called the Brundtland Commission report, which first defined sustainable development. And effectively, it's a focus on primarily corporations to begin with, working in such a way as to minimize the environmental footprint of their operations while working simultaneously to bring value add to communities from both an economic and a social perspective. This very much drew my attention as a good direction for the world to head in.
Blair has been quite remarkable. He's fascinated and is doing all he can to address the climate issue. He's media savvy. He understands the need to be able to communicate and get key sound bites so that people understand what's going on.
Blair really understands the interplay between government policy, business, and the individual. He proposes new solutions that are practical, financially attractive and sound, and actually do have an impact. He has a really good sense of what button to push in order to change behavior.
All I can say is, in my experience, Blair has been one of a kind. And what we need many of his kind.
My view is we have to deploy everything within our power to address this climate challenge from 3 perspectives. One is more effectively mitigating greenhouse gas emissions. Number 2 is adapting to climate change and extreme weather risk. And number 3, we need much greater focus in the world on carbon capture and sequestration to actually take carbon out of the atmosphere and bury it safely into deep reservoirs in the Earth's crust, for example. We also need to learn to adapt to the extreme weather risk that's on the ground today and the greater risk that's coming in the future. And the formidability of that challenge should function as a call to arms on our part to deploy adaptation as rapidly as possible. We should still be working to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions, to slow down the rate of change. Every day we don't adapt is a day we don't have. How can we de-risk Canada from an extreme weather perspective? On climate change, the problem is here on the ground right now. Time is not a luxury. Connecting and sharing information is important under one roof. And at Globe, we create a forum whereby we can actually take good ideas, meet with key decision makers on the spot, and invent the mechanism for mobilizing those ideas to turn them into on-the-ground best practices.
Not everyone can be a Blair, but without a doubt, we need more people who are willing to connect the dots, who are willing to recognize we live on one planet, and we're at a point in human history that we can't afford to make many more big mistakes.
If I could make a contribution to helping the world function in such a way as to minimize environmental footprint, but also think about value add socially and economically, I think that's good direction for the world, certainly for Canada.